So good morning, Kerry.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Hi, sweetie. I'm talking to Kerry, image consultant and personal stylist. And I'd like to get your take today, Kerry, on all things to do with styling, as well as your take on prints, patterns, and what else have I written down here? Stripes and floral prints, horizontal or vertical stripes, etc., etc. I know I've given you a whole bag of stuff to talk about, but I'm first going to start with when you dress a client and you take them on their wardrobe of discovery, are you working with garments they already own, or are you looking at completely revising their wardrobe?
Right, so I always start with getting to know the client, understanding lifestyle, how they spend their time, are they working, they're not working, what do they do for their days, how do they spend their time. Then I think about their style personality, so their likes and dislikes, what they like about style. Yeah, if they've got a strong personality, what is it? Do they like things like you've just said about patterns and things, or are they somebody who prefers block colored dressing, that kind of thing? So I'm overlaying how they spend their time, their style personality. We'll look at things like the colours that suit them, styles that suit them in terms of body shape, height, scale, proportions. There's a little bit of the sort of, thinking about their body as such. And then I would always start with looking at their existing wardrobe.
Okay.
Because I believe that we've all got things lurking in our wardrobe that probably stayed there for some time that we haven't worn, and that have got lots of longevity still left in them. I mean, I was talking to you just a moment ago before we sort of came on air, as it were, and I'm wearing a little top here that I've had for several years, quite a few years, that once was a dress. So yeah, so I believe you can repurpose things. You can use your existing wardrobe. You can create capsule wardrobes by putting things together, mixing and matching things that you've already got. But then I would look at, okay, so are there things that are missing in that wardrobe? Are there the few key pieces that will make a real difference in terms of putting a wardrobe together for somebody that really works for them? So that's when I would then go, okay, let's have a look, what's out there, or do we come to somebody like you that can make something for somebody that would absolutely fit them perfectly, clearly, or where do we go with that? But I'm very much, I guess, guided by the client, because some people just want a little steer, some people want more of a, do you know what, this isn't my bag, it's not my thing. And I think sometimes, I said to you last time, and I joke about this, but honestly, me in a kitchen, not my thing. Okay, really can't do cooking, not interested, just not good at it. I'm not one of those that goes a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I probably haven't even got the little bit of this and a little bit of that to add into these lovely dishes that everybody else does. So I kind of outsource the problem. I always say this, but to HelloFresh or whomever, so that I make it easy. So I would do that for people for whom clothes really isn't their thing. I 100% get it. It's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not what they want to spend their time thinking about. So I work with people that love clothes and want help choosing the clothes that they really love and expressing themselves and their personality. And I also work with clients that this really isn't their bag, and they just want some help. So I do both bits, really. And I get both.
So but going back to where because I like the part where you said about the things that are missing from their wardrobe. What give me an idea, what could be missing from their wardrobe?
Okay, so oftentimes it's the really, what I would call the small things, the basics. So in fact, if I think about a lady I saw just earlier last week, I'm losing track of days here, whatever day it was Saturday, there we go. It was the basic layering pieces. So things like camisoles that can go under tops, or long sleeve t-shirts that can go under tops, that then create like a long layer or a shorter layer, or you can add pops of colour with those sorts of items that might then make more of a capsule wardrobe, because it all brings it together. So it might be something like that, or it might be that they honestly, I don't know, at the moment midi dresses are a thing, aren't they? There's lots of midi dresses out there, and you might go, you haven't got one of those at the moment, I could really see you in that. And it's current, not that I believe everybody has to follow fashion at all, because I really don't, but it might be the one thing that they could wear that would be good for, I don't know, work. It might work for evenings and weekends or whatever. So it's like one of those pieces that you can use in lots of different ways. I might suggest that for you, that'd be a really good investment piece. You've already got, I don't know, trainers that go with it, or the shoes that go with it, or a jacket you can put with it. But a midi dress might be just a really nice extra item to add in. So it kind of depends, to be honest with you, as to whose wardrobe it is, how they spend their time, what they like and dislike. And there's not always missing items. A lot of people have got loads of clothes, a stack of clothes that they just don't wear, and actually it's more about helping them to pare down and making life a bit simpler for them rather than adding to the wardrobe. So it can be a bit of both, really, to be honest with you.
So do you accessorize this look as well, this capsule collection, down to shoes? And because I noticed even with your jewelry, and when you did when I've watched you on the videos, and you're putting together a whole look, you can wear it with this necklace, these trainers, this handbag. So it's everything. So it makes it effortless for them.
Yeah, 100%. I've also got a little app that I, offer to clients called Stylist at Hand, which then is on your phone. You have these outfits created together, a bit like a flat lay is what they say in the sort of fashion world, don't they? But it literally shows the top with the trousers, with the jewelry, with the bag, with the shoes, so that you can get your phone. And if you're really sitting there thinking, I don't know what to wear, you just look through the different outfits that I'll have created.
It's really nice.
Yeah, so you've got it on your tablet or on your laptop or on your phone. And it is exactly all of that. So it's everything, so that you don't have to even think, which necklace was it that went with this top, and I've overlaid this one, but I might have put something else with it, or scarf or whatever. So I do try and put everything together for everybody, so that it takes away that overwhelm of thinking, gosh, I know that top, but what else do I put with it? So that's what I try and do, put everything with it. And some people are really into jewelry and scarves and accessories, and some people really aren't, because they like that really pared back, very minimalist. They might have a bag, they might do shoes, but they won't do these sorts of accessories. They'd look at that and go, ooh, Kerry, it's not me at all. And that's perfect, because that's what dressing's all about. It's about expressing yourself, isn't it? So if it's your thing, do it. If not, then you don't have to use accessories. I mean, I would say they add an awful lot in terms of, you can use them to pull outfits together. Particularly, pops of colour. So I quite like wearing colour, and then I might have a shoe that's that particular colour on as well, for example, or a necklace in a certain colour. So I don't always stick to sort of silver, gold and metallics. I've got all sorts of costume jewellery, but again, it depends on the individual and what they like. That's what's important, and if it works for them. Some people do not want all this because they might have a baby that will grab it or try and eat it, or so there's practical reasons why you might or might not like to wear jewelry, or you might be bending all the time and it sort of hangs down into whatever. And so it's about people's style, personality. But in answer to your question, I definitely would recommend the whole outfit, not just it's that top with that skirt.
It's really nice. And I like the idea of the app that you've created as well, because it's making them their own personal stylist without them feeling that everything's so twee, and it's a fun uniform, as opposed to being so structured and uniform that their personality isn't there. So their personality is brought through by being able to do the whole mix and match. So that's really clever.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So it's all about wardrobes working for the individual. Not, I never ever go, okay, I've found that shirt, let me recommend it to that client, because that's not what this is about. This is about helping people to be them. And then the app basically just puts it all together, and I can then create, if I've found one shirt, I can then go, oh, do you know what, that would go with what you've already got in your wardrobe, which is those trousers, that skirt, that particular jacket, we can put it with this jewelry, those shoes. So it's then that I'm able to sort of mix and match with their existing wardrobe, and also the new things that I find for them as well.
That is superb. And did you come up with the idea for the app?
I wish I could take credit for that, but no. I am not technical at all. As well as not being able to cook, I am definitely not technical. No, it's an app that I've bought into as a stylist that then I can offer to my clients, that gives them, I call it Stylist at Hand, because it's me at hand to them. I wish I was that clever to be able to write code and create such clever things, but no, can't claim the credit on that one.
But with that app, it's the garments that you've pre-selected for them.
Yes. So I would see someone and so if you came to me with, I mean, I know you know all these things already, but just for instance, we've worked out the colours that you like, the styles that suit you, etc. We upload all your items onto the app, so the garments you already possess, and your shoes and your jewellery and any accessories. So it's all uploaded, all photographs, all uploaded. And then I do it so I could do a monthly, quarterly or annual, biannual even, subscription. So people just pay for my time effectively either each month, each quarter, or biannually, and then I'll find them a certain number of pieces to add into their existing wardrobe. So I've always got their existing wardrobe, so I understand them, their personality, their colouring, their shapes, and then I can look at what they've already got and then go, okay, this month we're going to add in a few pink pieces because I've seen that you've already got pink and grey, and let's build on that capsule, and that's what I do. So yeah, so I'm building people's wardrobes. Yeah, I love doing it. Absolutely love doing it. And obviously, you know, the clients love it too. So, because it kind of is making life easy because you've got everything to hand.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's personalised to them.
Yeah, so it's an instant confidence booster.
Yeah,
as well, because
100%.
you know the whole thing about clothes and why we dress and how we dress is to transform not just our personalities but to uplift our confidence. So there, when you have it, you know that you're ready and you're already showing up the way that you want to be seen. So I think that's an excellent idea. And it sounds so, it's the mixture of play, yet at the same time being able to, you know, it's like going back in time where you could play dress up, but also as well, you know, for you as an adult. So
yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. It is a bit like that. It reminds me of, this is going to show my age now, but do you remember the little paper dolls you could get where you could literally use the tabs that would put the little... Yes. Yeah.
I remember.
Oh dear.
Yeah, the paper was always so thin that I used to have to back onto some cardboard to then put the other dresses on.
And then look at you. You were sophisticated in it, weren't you? I used to just, you know, bend it around, but I used to love doing all of that. I've always loved clothes and all that kind of thing. So yeah, so it's kind of an adult version of that. You're quite right. It's about, you know, putting outfits together that work for people, that help them to feel really, really confident and put themselves across in the way they want to be seen by everybody. So
I can hear your passion. How long have you been doing this?
15 and a bit years now. So and I absolutely, honestly, just helping people. I'm a big one in helping people anyway, but helping people and then combining that with my love of clothes and what it can do for people and the mindset, you know, the connection between what you wear and the mindset and the confidence. Absolutely love it. And then if you can make it easy for people, so style simplicity I talk about, making it really, really easy, like having the app, like creating capsule wardrobes for people who are busy and have got other things to be doing. If I can sort of, you know, do those things and do it, personalize it for the individual, that's what I love doing, is helping people to be themselves, really. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's be yourself, and make it easy for people to do that. So I agree, that's me in a nutshell, in my happy place.
Very happy by the sounds of things. So having covered that, what is your experience with people or with your clients when it comes to wearing prints? What is it? Is there an aversion to it? Do they like it?
Again, that comes down to people's style personality, because somebody who's kind of very chic, minimalist, doesn't particularly like pattern, will often choose to go towards block colours, and they might do a stripe. Actually, stripe is seen as quite a classic print. So some people might do a stripe, or they might even do a polka dot. Again, that's seen as a quite classic kind of print. But the print you've got behind you there on your mannequin, for example, or even myself here with chevrons and things like that, might feel a bit more out there to some people. So again, it's about understanding what they like and what they don't like. I mean, I wear loads of print and pattern. I love it. I do. But that's me, you know. I wouldn't, you know, push it on everybody else. And then it's understanding the types of prints and patterns that work best for different types of people in terms of body shapes, where you want to bring the eye, all that kind of thing. And then there's, you know, you get to the whole debate which you mentioned earlier, which is stripes. What do they do if they're going, you know, horizontally versus vertically? And there's been quite a lot of coverage on that. There's all sorts of debates around that, whether horizontal stripes do make you look broader or not. My view is they do. If you put a horizontal stripe on the top half, it tends to broaden the top half, which if you want to create balance with a broader bottom half, then that's exactly what it will do. It'll add balance to the top half. A vertical stripe is great for people like me that are, I was going to say, you know, petite, or as my husband would say, vertically challenged. Because a straight line going up and down the body, it creates that, you know, elongation, height, etc. So patterns can be really clever in what they can do for people, because they can create illusions. I mean, I don't get any taller when I wear a stripe, but it might look like I gained an inch or so. So so patterns can be quite clever. You can also use them like placement patterns. So I don't know, if you want to bring the eye upwards, you could be wearing a floral top and plain bottoms. And generally then the eye will be drawn to the more interesting thing. So the floral print is probably the more interesting thing to look at rather than the plain bottoms. So that would draw the eye to the top part of the body. Or if you want to bring it down, you do the opposite. You wear a quite plainish top and you wear sort of more patterned skirt or trousers. And, our eyes are drawn by difference. So things like patterns are different to a plain. So again, you can use patterns quite cleverly to sort of bring interest or draw the eye to a place you'd like people to look on your body. And they can be quite playful as well. So if you like pattern, you can have great fun with pattern. You can do pattern clashing, which I have to be honest, I'm a bit more sort of classic-ish in my styling, and I don't really like this trend of I don't know, florals with checks or whatever, that very very clashy. It's not me, but it would be someone else.
It's that when you've got that whole element of where they clash, it's as if the eye is trying to figure out, well, where should I focus? Am I looking at the top? Am I looking at the bottom? Am I trying to, is the brain trying to put them both together and decide, is it working? Is it abstract art or is it just, this is just not my cup of tea at all? Because
very creative people love all of that. So if you're really creative, that might absolutely be your thing. It'll look brilliant on you. Because you'll carry it off because it's you, it's your personality. On me, I would be feeling, oh, it's not very together, it doesn't look very cool. That's my coordinated kind of like things to look like they go together mindset. That's how I think, and that's just that's who I am. So for me, when you do the complete pattern clash, it's just it doesn't feel like me. It's too almost, I was going to say untidy, but do you know what I mean, in terms of me it's too much, too busy,
too busy.
Too busy. But for other people, that's 100% what they love.
Definitely.
I mean, if you think of Paloma Faith and people like that, some of the celebrities and things, they love doing all of that kind of thing, and they absolutely rock it, and it looks fantastic on them.
They do. And it doesn't look as though it's clashing on them, because in terms of because their personality is already larger than life, so to speak. So to see them in something that would be considered to be quite demure and safe, it's almost as if what happened, are you ill? But when you see them in something whereby it's bold, it's in your face, it also, for me, it feels as if it's automatic, it's uplifting you, because it's getting you to look at that personality from a completely different viewpoint to what everybody
100%.
else is doing.
And it speaks to them, doesn't it? It speaks to them, who they are, what they're all about, what their personal brand values are, So you're right. If you saw Paloma Faith in a, I don't know, really plain dress, straight dress, shift dress, you'd be kind of like, it jars, doesn't it? It's not congruent with who she is and what she does. So it's all about dressing for you and who you are and how you want to come across to the world. Or, that's what I believe anyway. So for me, pattern clash personally, step too far. But for other people, brilliant, and absolutely embrace it, go for it. If it's your thing, do it. But this is pattern for me, and I do like animal prints, and I will wear checks and stripes and things like that, but the idea of putting two completely different prints together, it just wouldn't be where I would go personally.
And speaking of animal prints, we had a conversation about
we did
previously, and it's I'm actually, it's one of those things whereby you buy a red car and all of a sudden all you see is are red cars. And what I've noticed is, since we had that conversation about animal prints, I mean, it's everywhere. And I'm actually quite surprised at the mindset behind animal prints. There's some people that just like the leopard and the cheetah print, so for example, as opposed to zebra prints, which is more of a little bit of an extreme. But I find that it's almost as if certain types of animal prints have to be a part of that person's staple wardrobe as well. And it's not the whole Coronation Street Vet Lynch.
No, it's not. No, some people absolutely. No, absolutely. Some people absolutely love animal print. They're really drawn to it. I've got a very good friend of mine who, honestly, even for birthdays, I've got cups that have got animal print on or whatever, because it's very herd, what I'm saying? And same for other clients. I'll go there and there'll be, a whole rack full of animal print things, because they love it. And you're right, there's so many different animal prints, and these days as well, whereas it used to be your typical, you know, brownie creamy kind of animal print, that was it. Now you've got like your zebra prints, and you've also got prints in, I don't know, like royal blues and cerise. And it's not limited to the colorway of just the brownie creamy kind of those sorts of things. You've got them in all sorts now, and actually they can be done quite subtly. They can be done really out there. Again, you can even have placement animal prints. There was quite a few, and I think there's a few still in the shops now, where you've got plain t-shirt top, for example, and then you might have a little bit of animal print coming across the shoulder. They've got metallic in them as well, which you know, so it brings it up to date, so you can have a metallic-y sort of animal print coming across a white t-shirt or something. That's very trendy at the minute. So animal print, I think, is one of those that is, honestly, it's been around for decades and decades and decades, hasn't it? And it's just how you wear it. If you like it, if you don't like it, don't wear it. Or you can do it in small things. I often say to people, if you don't like wearing it as such, why not do it in a belt or a pair of shoes?
There's something very classic about an animal print for me there, you know. You know, even like I've seen, there was a woman that I saw recently, and she had an animal print blouse with a leather skirt and just a black, and it was just so chic, you know. And it was
it's a really good word.
And it's the way, you know, it's the way you can just pull it off. If you're not used to prints, you know, I think that a very subtle animal print is a way to lead you into print, so to speak. You know,
that's very true.
That, you know, you're in that space of overwhelm. So
no, I agree with you, actually. And if you pair it with something simple, like you're saying there, it can look extremely chic. I 100% agree with you. If you go all out for it and very colourful and bold, then it's very different. You know, it's very different. I've got black and red, and I've got all sorts, actually. I quite like animal prints in all sorts of colours, but you probably wouldn't use the word chic necessarily, because it depends what you pair it with and how you wear it, obviously. So
very true.
But no, animal print's been around for years and years and years. I think I do my style update each season, and usually we've got something in there that's talking about an animal print as well as other prints. So, and this time of year, there's loads of florals, as there quite often are, because, you know, spring, summer, there's quite a lot of the floral print around as well. And checks is quite big at the moment as well. Particularly monochrome checks. So I quite like, I mean, you're right. If people don't like pattern, it's absolutely fine, and steer clear of it. But there are certain patterns that suit people with different shapes better. So generally speaking, if you're curvy, then a non-geometric shaped pattern is better. So straight lines on curvy figures can sometimes go a little bit wavy, is the reason. So if you put geometrics or you know, stripes or whatever, and then they kind of kink a little bit, it sort of draws the eye. Often I'm thinking, you know, ladies' busts and things like that, it can be a little bit, so it may not be the best. But if you've got a really curvy figure, then you put squiggles or animal prints or florals or things like that, it looks absolutely wonderful. It was really, really, because it kind of goes with the shape. And then overlay the personality always, because some people will go, oh, florals, I don't know, it feels a bit, you know, I don't want to dress like my mum or whatever, and it's all that kind of thing comes out. I get those sorts of conversations with people. It's like, I like floral prints, but certain floral prints, not, you know, too ditzy. Or a lady was with the other day was saying, I don't want to look Laura Ashley-ish from years ago. You know, Little House on the Prairie kind of. So it's again, it's thinking about which patterns you like, and then thinking about, okay, so if you do like floral prints, there's so many different floral prints, aren't there? Let's be honest.
Very true.
It's not just one kind. And the other bit I talk about, and I'm sure you do when you're, you know, designing garments for people, is then the size of the pattern as well.
Well, this is it. That's what I was going to ask you in relation to floral prints, because I wrote down here, floral prints, in my opinion, they're timeless. But you also have to be mindful, because too busy a floral print on a small frame can drown them. And then on a taller person, yes, it can spread out. But then, you know, it's making sure that they don't look, because they're tall, that they don't look like a botanical garden. So it is about, you know, finding that balance. So how do you go about that in terms of a person's frame?
So what I would always say is, basically you're trying to choose the size of print, or actually accessories like belts or jewelry or whatever, that is in keeping with someone else's scale, which means bone structure, and height. those are the two
Mm-hmm,
big things,
mm-hmm.
really. So if you're quite petite and fine boned, so you're not that tall and you're quite, small framed, you
Yeah.
don't want to be wearing massive prints. If you wear big prints, it almost looks like you're wearing someone else's clothes, because they look like, you borrowed it from some other person, I mean, if I put big floral prints on,
Yeah.
they drown me, because they're overwhelming me, because I'm quite little, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on somebody else who's taller or bigger framed, they look gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And they look better, actually. If you've got a bigger frame, you look better in the bigger patterns, because the little ditzy patterns sometimes almost look too small, like a little tiny necklace. You can get lost on a bigger frame. So it's all about keeping everything in keeping with your own scale and height, really.
Yeah.
So the sort of, if you're more petite, think about littler things. If you're tall or grand in your scale, then go towards bigger patterns. And then think about not overwhelming yourself. So
yeah. And then
top
what
to
about
toe versus placement? Sorry.
So what about one big placement flower?
Yeah.
How does that work? Especially when it comes to, sometimes you can have a placement of an item, and if it's in the bust area, it might be drawing too much attention to that area. So then how does a person work around that then, in terms of placement?
Well, I have to share this story because it did make me laugh. But there was once t-shirt that I saw on a lady, and I know it was just someone coming towards me when I was shopping once, and honestly, it just had literally 2 flowers either side, there and there. I was like, who created that? You just have to wonder what went through the designer's mind. And also then, obviously, the lady couldn't have looked in the mirror to think that that's what was happening, because it was just, it was just almost like putting 2 arrows together. So you do need to be mindful of where patterns and details are on your body. And really, again, I would say it's all about thinking about what your shape is, and also where you want to draw the eye. So if you're going to wear placement patterns of any descriptions, they want to be somewhere where you want someone to look. So you might want it up on the shoulder if you want to bring it upwards, or you might want to put it down on skirts and things if you've got absolutely fab legs and you want to show off your legs. And so it's about thinking about which bits of your body would you like people to be looking at and you showing off, because that's where they'll be drawn to. If it's just one placement thing, that is where the eye gets drawn.
That's a really good idea. So going back, because I'm picking up in all these things as I'm making my notes, but going back to something else that you said about block colors. Now, not everybody know what block colors are and how to work them, so tell me a bit more about that then.
So block colors just means plain colors, and they're literally in blocks. So you would have, I don't know, a blouse in one block color, and your skirt would be in another plain block color. And then you might have a belt in another block color. So they're just plain colors put together in blocks, for example, so you can break the body up. But that's what you need to be thinking about, is every time there's a color change. So if you go from, I don't know, a white blouse to a black skirt, let's just use that as an example, the eye will be drawn where those 2 blocks of color change. So you're going to bring the eye to the waistline in that example, because you've gone from white at the top to then black skirt, and the bit where it changes is at the waist.
That's
so you're
really
going to
good.
So you're going to bring the eye anywhere where you change something. If you're looking at me, if you just use me as an example, you're highly likely to be looking here, because that's where it changes from pattern to skin. And here, it's just where there's a change in something, that's where the eye gets drawn, because that's we're just programmed to see differences. So that's how it works on any bit of the body. So anywhere where there's a change in block color, the eye gets drawn. The other thing to think about is how many times you change that block color, because if you've got a small frame, again, if you think of I'm 5'3", so if you think about me, if I wore one color shoe and then another color skirt with a different color pair of tights with a different color top and then a different color cardigan, I'm going to have broken my body up so many times with all these various different blocks of color that the perception is it makes you look smaller.
Oh, right, okay. As well as Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Well, that going on as well. Yeah, exactly. So, and it wouldn't tick my matchy style, would it? So, exactly. I couldn't be doing all of that. Far too busy. But so that's what it does. So for a tall figure, it's actually very helpful, because you can, if you don't want to look, if you're very lean and very tall and you don't want to look as lean and tall, you can break your body up by using these changes in colour, these blocks of colour, to break the body up. So it can be really useful to use it in that way.
So does the same apply with dual colours then? Because that's already a clash, you know, where you've got, and I noticed in a little while, but in the 90s, they had like a bright orange teamed with purple, you know, and done in silks and satins and stuff. And it was a real clash, but they really worked in terms of the brightness.
Yeah, no, and if we started talking colour, I'd be talking about, do this suit you, and what does the colour do for skin tone, hair, etc. But you're absolutely right. Wherever there's a change, really, in either pattern or colour, or blocks of colour, that's where the eye tends to get drawn. So it's about thinking about where you want somebody to look on your body, really, and then making that bit almost like the most interesting bit for them to look at, whether you're using block colours, whether you're using patterns, whether it might be the dual colours that are the changes in colours. Thinking about what that's doing in terms of where someone's going to look on your body. And at the moment, there has been actually quite recently, there's been quite colour clashes, like pink and orange are generally, you know, one's if you go for a fuchsia pink, it's like a cool colour, and then you go for a bright orange and it's the warm colour. So you're now mixing warm and cool colours together, which is, you know, quite clashing, if you like, those very bold colours. And there's been quite a bit of that around at the moment. So you can play with colour. And I try to say to people when I'm talking about colour, obviously we give guidelines in terms of the colours that suit you, but there's no reason why you can't play with colour. So you know, if you're somebody that's got cool colouring and there's a blouse that's got mostly pink in and it's got a little bit of orange in, go for it. Don't walk away from it just because it's got a little bit of warm colour in. If the majority of it is the pink and it's the cooler colour that looks fabulous on you, 100% go for it. Especially if you've got kind of a dramatic personality where you like that kind of, you know, colour clash or pattern clash. It can look absolutely amazing. So so all these different sort of elements get taken into account when you're thinking about which clothes suit which bodies and which people best, really. That's all. It's like a big jigsaw, I always think, putting together a style, you know, for somebody. It's like a lump of their personality. That's a big one. Who they are in terms of, you know, brand values, bit about shape, you know, what the characteristics of their body are, their height, their scalp proportions, all of that. Do they or don't they like patterns? What's their feeling about clothes? Do they want to be really comfortable, or actually do they want to be really dressed up all the time? And it's kind of putting all these elements together and then going, righty ho, given what you've just said to me, how you spend your time, etc., this is the kind of thing I think would work for you. And then playing that back and making sure that, you know, you've understood exactly, and you've got a wardrobe that really works for somebody. And then it's a case of finding those things for people that meet their budget, etc., so that it ticks all the boxes and they've got a wardrobe that properly is a wardrobe that they can wear and love wearing.
Because there's a huge psychology behind it, in terms of, especially if a person feels that they may be a little bit shy, but at the same time, you know, they feel that they want to step out of their comfort zone. I mean, how would you approach somebody from that viewpoint? I mean, in terms of what would be their baby steps?
Yes, so that's exactly what I would just say to them, is to take it gradually. So in fact, another lady I saw last week was unsure about some of the colours, and I said, you know what, the easiest thing to do is, if you're unsure of a colour, is to buy something that doesn't cost you a lot of money in that colour. So even a simple camisole top that you might put under a blouse or something. And so just invest in something that's not going to cost you a lot of money, and then see how you feel in it, and then highly likely you're going to get compliments when you're wearing it, which then gives you the sort of like feedback that you need to go, oh, do you know what, actually I do quite like that, and it is obviously, you know, and then you can invest in a bit more if you want to, if you like that particular color. So 100%. And I always say to people, if you've got I use color fan of colors, if you've got colors in that color fan that you're not sure of, you don't have to wear them. Nobody's saying you've got to, you know, wear every single color. So choose the ones you like and wear it in the way that you like wearing it. So if you like the bold colors, then you can, you know, play around with bold colors. But if you're somebody who, you know, the theory would say suits bold colors, but you're really a bit, you know, shy or reserved or whatever, then you can use lighter and dark combinations rather than very jewel-like colors and things like that. So you take steps towards it. And if it never feels like you to wear a bright color, then don't wear a bright color. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you don't have to do these things. It's not life and death.
That's very true.
It's about wearing things that help you to feel comfortable and confident.
Yeah.
And I say to people, you know, if you're a bright palette, so if you suit the bright palette, but it's not really your thing, you can always do a bag.
Yeah, you can accessorize it. Yes, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Bright red bag. You don't have to wear a bright red dress. You could just have this bright red bag that does the talking.
Yeah.
And then you could be in your, I don't know, navy or whatever it might be that you feel more comfortable in.
Yeah.
So again, and if people want to try and get a little bit further towards it, we might say, okay, well, you know, they say I don't like red or whatever. I might say, okay, well, let's just try, like I said, the red bag or the red shoes or the red belt, or let's just buy a little top or a t-shirt or something that doesn't cost too much money in the red. Put it with your navy biker jacket or whatever it might be, and see how you feel. And then oftentimes people come back and they do say, honestly, they would go, oh my goodness, so many people commented when I wore whatever it was.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And then once you've got that feedback, you feel more confident, don't you?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and then you might get a bit braver.
Yeah.
And try a different, you know, another bit more of red or whatever the colour might be that you're a bit nervous about in the first place. So
yeah.
So I just think it's about helping people to take those steps if they want to. I never really push, because I just think it's about you feeling comfortable in yourself. But if you want to, then I'll happily help and suggest items. You know, you could even do it in like having a bit of a stripe or a pattern, like you say, with a bit of red in it to begin with, if you don't want to go whole hog. So there's always ways to sort of help people to experiment a little bit more. You know, just I was just thinking of another client I shot with actually a week ago, and she was someone who didn't actually like pattern, hadn't got really pattern in her wardrobe, and she bought 2 pattern blouses.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah, because she tried it on and went, oh, actually, do you know what? I really like that.
Oh, that's superb.
Just never tried pattern because she was worried about it looking too out there and almost like bringing the focus too much on her.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to, does it? So you can have subtle patterns, and you know, it looked absolutely lovely on her. And so that's an example of somebody I'll just say, well, just try it.
That's wonderful. I like that transformation, especially if the person's not expecting that, and you know, and then you know they're able to take a step back and look at themselves, and then you know, for me, when I've dressed the client, and it's that smile, that's when I know that I've done my work. You know that,
because you can tell, can't you?
Yeah.
You can tell straight away.
Make it up. Yeah.
Someone is looking in the mirror and they automatically smile. You're like, do you know what? This is brilliant. And when they try things on that doesn't make them smile, or when they're going, oh, I'm not quite sure about, you know, you're like, no, that's not good. Let's get it off. Because it's not working. So, or we need to tweak it, or we can put it with, you know, or whatever. But when you get that smile, that's happy days. Really, really good. Because you know that they feel good, which is what this is all about, is helping people to feel good about themselves. We all have to get dressed every single day, so let's make this a pleasurable experience, not one where people are like, oh, you know, what am I going to wear? And there's so many people feel like that, and as I said before, I honestly get it, because I feel like that every time I go into a kitchen. You know, you have to eat every day, don't you? And I have to get to the tea time and I'm like, oh my goodness, what's in the fridge? So I do get that feeling. So I like to help people to get beyond that, and then like, hey, this is great. I do know what I'm going to wear. I
like the way you relate it to the kitchen, and people's, you know, for those people that have an aversion to the kitchen, they're like, oh, Kerry, you get my vote every time. So that's actually not a problem for them. But for those people, when it comes to
love cooking,
exactly, those people that love cooking, they're okay, fine. I don't know what you're talking about. But for those people for who the cooking analogy and their wardrobe, you know, are one of the same, you know, I understand where you're coming from in relation to that. So we're getting ready to close now, but before that, I wanted to get what are your top 3 styling tips that you can share
for the season, or just generically?
Generically.
Generically. So I would 100% say understanding what you like and don't like, your style personality is the most important thing. So if you've got time and you enjoy doing these sorts of things, even just go on Pinterest and start creating your own little mood boards of looks that you like. Because that starts to narrow down what you do like and what you don't like. You could even have a board that says, you know, I don't like this, and boards that say I love this. Or however you want to do it, rip up bits of magazines or whatever. But understanding what you really do and don't like is honestly the key to getting a wardrobe that you really, really love. Because then you're wearing things you like. It's the same as dressing a house or something. So understanding your style personality is, for me anyway, that's what I believe is the top priority, and a kind of a going along with that is understanding yourself, therefore, and you know how you want to come across to other people, your personal brand and those sorts of things. And then this is me, because I think colour makes such a big difference. I would say understand which colours look really good on you and which ones don't. Because if you're somebody that does or doesn't like shopping, if you don't like shopping, it makes it very easy to go into a shop and you list reduce by about 50%, or even online, 50% of the things are in colours that perhaps aren't as flattering for you. So that makes life a lot easier. And then again, you end up with just the colours in your wardrobe that you know you look good in, and you can create this capsule wardrobe of pieces that mix and match. So that would be number 2, is understanding colours. And then number 3 is, if you know, trying to put it all together, I guess, is understanding which pieces are flattering for you. So it's understanding your body shape and your body characteristics. You know, are you long in your body, short in your body, longer in your, all those little bits which will really impact the fit of clothes. I know you talk about the fit of clothes, and you're so right, Coral. It really makes a difference if you understand your body. So you understand where you want seaming, where you want details, where you don't, you know, all of those things make such a difference. So if you understand your shape and you know where you want to bring the eye, then again, you've almost got your little, okay, I know my style personality, I know which colours I'm looking for, and I know which styles I'm looking for. DIY, you know, DIY styling, there, done. You can go off and, you know, shop.
Because what I like about the way that you work, and when I spoke to you previously in terms of body shapes, you don't go by the whole, I mean, when we spoke, you chuck the rules out. You know, you're not looking at that, well, because you know, we don't go by that whole pear shape, this shape. You look at how that person's physique is, and then you fit accordingly. And that's a huge difference, as opposed to saying a person is a pear shape, so therefore you should only have this and this together. You know,
so
wardrobe.
So I understand body shape, and I understand all the style rules that go with it, and of course that's in the back of my mind when I'm working with a client. Don't think it's the biggest and only thing that you have to get right. And so what I tend to do is literally work with the person in front of me, because you can't put people into these little boxes. It's not possible to put people into, I don't know, 3 shapes, 4 shapes, 10 shapes, whatever, because you'll get somebody who's got, I don't know, straighter at the waistline, but they've got a really nice bust. And you know, if you put them as a rectangle or whatever someone might want to say, then you're missing out the fact they've got a curvy top half. So it's all about actually looking at the different parts of the body. So, you know, the shoulder line, is it straighter, is it curvier? The upper arms, are they fuller, are they not? The bust, is it a neat bust, a fuller bust? Do you go in under your bust, do you not go in under your bust? Have you got a straighter rib cage, not a straight rib cage? You know, what happens at your hips and things? Have you got a long torso, a short torso? Like I say, it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. So whilst body shape sort of inputs, obviously it inputs into one thing, I personally wish we could rip them all up and almost like throw them out and dress the person that's in front of us. And that's kind of what I do, because it you know, it gives guidelines, and it is very helpful to have the ideas, but then you need the person, the real body in front of you. That's what you're doing. You're helping somebody to dress themselves, and they won't fit into these little regimented boxes, because we're all unique, aren't we? We're all unique.
But talking to you is like talking to the style Bible encyclopedia. You know, it's the things that people, you know, don't really get to hear about on a day-to-day basis. Yes, you can flick through a magazine and you can pick up certain tips and pointers, but people never actually think that those tips and pointers relate to them. It's always maybe that celebrity that has said that, or, you know, this fashion guru that has said that, but they're not actually talking to them. Whereas your sense of style is very much about talking to that individual. Because I've just
100%.
so much, you know, from a designer's perspective. So, you know, that's
100%. Well, it's the same as when you work with clients, I'm sure. You start with understanding them and their needs. And you are, I mean, being bespoke, obviously, you are dressing the body, their body. You are dressing that single body in front of you and making it absolutely perfect for them. And there is nothing better than a bespoke something, because it fits, flatters and functions is what I talk about. So, you know, and in quality fabrics that are going to last. And so I 100% get your world. It is absolutely, if we could all have corals making our clothes all the time, what a wonderful world this would be. It would be fantastic. So everything would fit.
But then also going back to the style personality, whereby, you know, building on that, like you said, you know, creating your own mood board. I mean, you can have your, what I consider, you know, for me, for bespoke, a lot of people, that's an aspirational piece, but then you can have, you know, you can meet that halfway. You can, you know, you can mix it with something that is, you know, is well within your pocket, But then also as well, it goes back to those old-fashioned values of you can also save up.
That's very, very true.
And work to that as well. And that in terms, it's that feeling. I remember, you know, for me, when I'd save up to buy certain pieces, how wonderful I'd feel because of that huge achievement. And
100%,
and you know, when you're wearing it, you know, you really do feel like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm the only one in the world with this. So it does make a difference.
I totally get it. That one of a kindness, you can't beat it, can you?
Definitely.
You just can't beat it.
Definitely.
Whatever it is you're saving up for, that, you know, in terms of, you know, bespoke pieces, absolutely 100%. Credit to you for doing that for people, because I'm sure you get fantastic feedback.
Thank you. And listen, Kerry, so I need for you to tell people, how do they get in touch with you? Let's close with how they can get more of the encyclopedic style knowledge of Kerry, the image stylist. Come on, tell them more, Bill.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So my website is probably the easiest port of call. So my website is www.kerryellis.co.uk. And my mum was, she caused me problems because she put an E on the end of my name. So my website has got 2 E's in the middle, just to point that out. So it's Kerry Ellis, all runs into one. Okay. And on there, I've got all sorts of blogs and videos, and obviously, you know, all my services and things as well. So that's number one. I'm also on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, and I'm also on LinkedIn. So you can find me on any of those social platforms as well. So if people want to get in contact, or my telephone number, because I love talking to people, is 07917 66 3330. So just drop me an email, drop me or pick up a phone. Love talking to people. If I can help anyone, then that'd be perfect. Love it.
Superb. It's been my absolute pleasure. I'm telling you, I didn't get time to write as many notes as I thought I would. This is why I'm going to be playing back the recording to write my notes that way, because I was just so enthralled with it all, and I'm just like, really, you know. So from that
that's brilliant.
It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. So thank you very much for your time, and
thank you.
For the wider audience out there, please get in touch with Kerry when it comes to styling your wardrobe, wanting to know how best to look, because this is a lady to talk to, because as you can tell, she's an absolute pleasure to talk to. So thank you for your time, Kerry, and thank you to you out there who are watching. Okay then, all the best.
Thank you.